Hi, I'm Rafi. I'm at the Scan AI booth at GTC 24, and I'm joined right now by Conrad Curtis from Virtual Production Partners. Let me guess, you work in virtual production?
We do. My company, Virtual Production Partners, is a company that's really trying to look at virtual production as the core of the filmmaking process. So
Okay.
not just the LED video wall. That's something that we know is a tool. Like you're using a Steadicam or you're using a Techno Crane. Like you might not have it on every day, but when you need it, it's great. But the thing that shifting over to virtual production taught us was that there's so much going on under the hood that's so valuable to people through the entire production process. So we want to help filmmakers leverage that, get started early, and create tools and processes that help them all the way through the production process.
Oh, that's great. Now they're speaking my language there because for the past couple of years I've been, or maybe a bit even longer than that, I've been using real-time engines and Omniverse and USD to really rethink how I make animated content. My background is in storytelling and developing IP, and I know how the production process have been in place for the past couple of decades, the offline process. I'm very familiar with that, but as an indie creator, it just doesn't scale for me. I just wouldn't be able to realize my show. So what's really changed the game for me is where real-time tech like Omniverse and the connectivity of OpenUSD fold in with the best practices in virtual production, where you pre-vis in a meaningful way. But virtual production is an umbrella term that has so many different technologies. You touched on a couple there with cameras and being in a digital twin kind of environment and set extensions. What are some of the key technologies that you like to use within the virtual production context? Because there's so many different things to use, VR and whatnot.
Yeah, so we've been working with a company called Lightcraft Technology that's been doing real-time virtual production since 2004. We helped them re-engineer their product from a $100,000 camera tracking compositing system. Something runs in an iOS app. And the first time we used it was actually in Omniverse. We were rendering on a box in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was on the beach in Santa Monica. It was tethered to a phone, and we were able to pre-vis and shoot in, with a 12-frame delay. So we worked with them to make their entire process more real time. It runs all locally in USDZ now, but it allowed us to spend time in Omniverse and understand that being connected to all of the creators wherever they work at is the superpower, right? And one of the things that we try to focus on is leveraging the things that are already being created. So the art department is already creating 3D assets. The lighting department might be working in Vectorworks. How do we take all of these different tools and bring them together in one digital twin in order to allow people to spend more time inside of their movies before it's time to make it? Because once you're making it, you can't really slow down, right?
No, absolutely not. And everything that a film is ultimately, 90% of it is in the planning, in the prep, in the pre-vis. And that 10% makes all the difference in film, don't get me wrong. And I love working in on-set, live action, working with actors, but you've got to create the right environment to get the best out of all your collaborators that are there on set with you on the day. Otherwise you're just burning film, as they used to say, right?
Yeah, and I think that what you touched on about the collaborators is the real genius, right? The filmmaking process is so great because you're able to get all of these people to participate together, and everybody has decades of experience where they're able to understand how to solve problems in really real meaningful ways. And if you can extend the ability to have that creative process, well, there's 20 people on the movie instead of 2,000, then you're allowed to really experiment, you're allowed to have fun, you're allowed to be creative. And that's been one of the things that's been really exciting to us, in the scope of the generative AI movement. Yes, you can make a movie by yourself at your keyboard, but if we can use these processes to really enhance collaboration across teams, now we're getting into territory where small teams have that superpower, and indie creators are able to figure out their movie, take it to somebody who really knows what they're doing and says, hey, I know you can't come onto my 3-month movie, but can you spend 3 days lighting my digital sets? And those kinds of conversations really amp up the productivity, the creativity, and allow people to get access to tools, resources, things. It's not like I have a script and an idea, but it's hey, this is my plan. Can you help me get it that last 10% of the way?
Awesome. Yeah, and the fidelity of the digital version, before you even start building or assembling or even location scouting, the fidelity of that means that if you are going to pre-light it there, it's very accurate to what you're going to do on the day. Especially with the tech that NVIDIA showcased this week with its cloud APIs, the RTX streaming, right, based on GDN. So as a tool maker, how much of the solutions you provide for studios and productions is built on the modularity of Omniverse and the tools that already exist, and how much of it is the bespoke tools that you find that, oh, we need to write something to plug in here?
Across the board, we've been able to do so much with the tools that are being created, and it's really exciting working in film because you've got this ecosystem that's built around like people training robots or self-driving cars, or like they're solving much more complicated problems. Right. So there's usually a tool to be pulled and a tool to be created. Our Story Twin tool that we're about to launch this summer actually takes like industry standard production information and uses it to drive the creation and management of USD and Omniverse.
Oh, cool.
And that lets you have like an iterative asset library for your movie. That's been something that we've been able to build on top of Omniverse Kit with available resources. And it's such a powerful collection of tools that it's been really easy to put those tools together and make something that's coherent and interoperable with Unreal Engine or Blender or all these other amazing tools that are available. But we've been hyper-focused on like how do we meet the artists where they're already working. And fortunately, NVIDIA's picked up a lot of the slack in how we're able to say, hey, you know, it's not like you need to relearn your whole process in this other tool. It's like, hey, here's how USD works, and let's take it from there.
Yes, yes. And you know, all that technology you just mentioned there, from NVIDIA's local compute to the workstations that you would need on site, through to the cloud infrastructure, and obviously the whole Omniverse and OpenUSD ecosystem. That's the stuff that Scan AI specialize in, and they specialize in obviously the AI, generative AI side of things, through to the hardware solutions. So for everything that Conrad and I have been talking about and how it impacts virtual production and filmmaking of tomorrow, get in touch with the Scan AI team. They're specialists in this space, they're specialists in hardware, through to software solutions. And if you like this kind of content, you're going to see more of it from GTC 24 right here on this channel.